kids. Fuck the kids? Yeah.
You have just tuned in to the Mag Nerd Podcast, your home for everything in music, anime, and gaming. What is up, people? Showing the King here, back with another video, and today I'm doing a discussion. Welcome to the Mag Nerd Daily. I told you guys last week that I would be bringing bite-sized content in a podcast format because, again, I haven't had an opportunity to film a full Mag Nerd Podcast episode. I thought I'd bring out some of this bite-sized content to discuss some of the things that I've been dying to talk about. So today's the day for that. So today I wanted to talk about Star Wars, as you guys could see in the description and in the title of this video. Namely in regards to this entire Brie Larson blame Star Wars fans for, for everything. It's very hard for me to talk about this because, well, let me start here. I would consider myself a huge Star Wars fan. Am I a Star Wars fanatic? No, I wouldn't classify myself. I don't read I didn't read any of the original novels and anything outside of the movies and video games. I don't really dabble in. I don't read Star Wars comics, even if that's a thing, or again the novels and stuff like that. I just mostly focus on the movies, the video games, and very, very, very few of the cartoons. I saw the original trilogy in theaters. Well, once they did a remaster of them and released them in theaters, I saw them, and I saw the original prequels in theaters, and then I saw the most recent three in theaters. I was a fan. I was not a fan of The Last Jedi. I actually hated The Last Jedi, and I was not a huge fan of The Rise of Skywalker either. The first one was okay. The first one was good. I think upon watching it a couple more times, I kind of realized that it was basically just a remake of The New Hope, and it kind of was more nostalgia that made me like that one more than anything. But I digress. The reason why I wanted to make this video is because there was this is actually not a direct response. The guy's name is Mike Zero. He's a YouTuber. He's a Star Wars YouTuber. And again, like I said, I haven't seen this article myself, but he basically came out and said that Brie Larson was doing an interview with talking about Captain Marvel 2, and in the process she revealed that she had basically was trying out for all the Star Wars movies and didn't get it, but she plans on being an acolyte. There's some rumors about that. She also said in the interview that Star Wars fans are to blame for the situation that Star Wars is in, and that she doesn't like the way Star Wars is headed, and how she thinks that Star Wars needs to have more activism in it. And she needs it to. She says she hopes that it'll turn around the same path of activism as Marvel movies have, which I didn't really understand, because other than Captain Marvel, I didn't really see a lot of politics, real world politics being injected into Marvel movies. But again, that's a video for another day. So again, I just kind of wanted to come on and just kind of give my brief thoughts on where she was coming from in that context, and just kind of give my thoughts on identity politics and SJW stuff. Again, here's the thing. I'm gonna try to be as calm as possible. This new age that we're going into with films and with activism and the whole women movement. Look, I am married to a strong, powerful, beautiful woman, and I have two beautiful, intelligent girls that will go on to do great things in this world. I have nothing against women. Let me be clear. I'm not an incel. I'm not one of those basement dwellers who just, lives with their mama and da-da-da-da-da. That's kind of how, I feel like sometimes the liberal side of, entertainment tries to, place toxic Star Wars fans, if that's what you want to call them. Now, I am a nerd. I will fully admit to that. As you guys can see in the background, I have a plethora of action figures and nerdy stuff behind me. But again, I wouldn't consider myself one of those toxic Star Wars fans that, Brie Larson's will try to, and the Kathleen Kennedys would try to make us out to be, and a Pablo Hidalgo, will try to make us out to be, which was another thing that really pissed me off, by the way. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this because I don't understand where this all came from. Like, one of the things that Brie Larson said that really pissed me off is that she said that The Last Jedi was a great movie. She didn't understand why there was so much hate towards it and towards Rian Johnson, which is absolute bullshit because, again, that movie objectively was not a good movie. The plot didn't make any sense. The way that the story just changed from the first one and just dropped off characters and tried to introduce new characters and new storylines that didn't make any fucking sense. It was just too much. It was too much. Like, objectively, that movie was it was a bad movie. Now, again, subjectively, again, if she liked this, The Last Jedi, then hey, that's on her. But for her to sit there and say that it was only a small group of people who didn't like The Last Jedi, I think that's absolute bullshit. Like, most people that I talk to who are big Star Wars fans, who are casual Star Wars fans, most of them did not like The Last Jedi. Like, I haven't met anybody personally that was praising that movie like it's the greatest Star Wars movie ever made. They just don't. So again, I think she's being very facetious when she's talking about, the Last Jedi didn't deserve the hate that it got. She also was said something along the lines of that Star Wars fans are just too demanding and they demand too much from the writers and the directors and da 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 da. And to an extent, to be fair, that might be true, just a little bit. Now let me explain. I definitely think that Star Wars fans are probably some of the most passionate fans that are out there. So they do demand a lot of quality from these movies and they do demand that things make sense. Like, when you are in The Last Jedi and you have a character who is making nonsensical decisions, and it you will expect that the audience is not going to be able to connect with that character and they're going to call that character out on the bullshit. Like the captain of that spaceship where they were like stranded and things like that, like her decision to not tell Poe about the plan, it just didn't make any sense. It was just like, I'm the captain, I don't have to tell you what the fuck is going on, you just listen to me, I'm the woman, I'm in charge. Like, again, I felt like they were playing identity politics with that character, like right down to the hair color. It was just like she was just screaming like, feminist warrior. Like, it was weird. It was very weird. But anyway, like, and again, like, I only watched The Last Jedi one time. I watched it one time opening weekend when it came out. After I saw what they did to Luke, I was done. Like, I was just like, I would never watch this movie again, and I didn't. I have not seen The Last Jedi again since the first time I saw it in theaters. Same thing with The Rise of Skywalker. I went to The Rise of Skywalker thinking that they were going to fix things, and they kind of fixed things, but then they also made a lot of things worse, and I just left that movie unsatisfied. I didn't hate it as much as I hated The Last Jedi, but I still left that movie unsatisfied, and again, I have not watched that movie since, and I have not paid. Like, I don't own it on DVD. I own The Force Awakens, but I don't own any of the last two films. Okay? So, the thing, and again, one last thing I want to talk about with The Last Jedi, we're talking about continuity issues. So, there's this specific scene where she takes the head captain chick, she takes the fleet ship and she rams it in light speed and it crashes through like 50 different, like 4 or 5 other ships and destroys it. She ends up killing herself. And to me, that didn't make sense because the canon had already established that when you are going light speed, you're not actually traveling in that space. You're in a separate wormhole that you're traveling through. It's not like you can, because, and again, I know I sound really weird, but just go with me. So the reason, and again, I heard this from somebody else as well. They also mentioned it because it was like, what she did broke so many rules and canon rules of the Star Wars, canon. It didn't make any sense. Like, if what she was able to accomplish with that one ship was done so easily, why wouldn't the rebels or the First Order Just make a bunch of fleet ships, turn them into hyperspace, and just shoot it at their enemies if they can do that much damage. Get a robot, put the robot in the ship, activate Lightspeed, run it right into the Death Star. Death Star is destroyed. Death Planet is destroyed. You run it right through the middle of it, boom, it'll blow up everything. So again, it's situations like that that Rian Johnson didn't think about when he was making that movie, and if the people complain about it, then they get mad at us because it's just like we're overreacting. Now, do I think that Star Wars fans can be a little toxic? Yes, I do think that. But again, this is a franchise that's been going on longer than I've been alive, so I'm not necessarily in a position where I can sit there and say that somebody is too much of a fan. Okay, so let's talk about identity politics and just the politics in general. I don't want to see it in my. I don't want to see it in my Star Wars films. I just don't like. I want to see representation, but I don't want it to be thrown in my face. And what I mean by that is that I don't mind seeing Finn. I thought when the rise of Scott, when the first of the new films where they introduced Finn, and I thought he was going to be this badass Jedi with a lightsaber, and none of that ended up panning out. I had no issue with them introducing black characters. I don't have an issue introduce. I don't have an issue at all with them adding diversity to Star Wars in general. I think diversity in film is a great thing. What you cannot do though is you cannot take diversity and destroy what was currently there in favor of this diversity. And what I mean by that is that I felt like what they try to do with Rey was they're like, we want woman power in our new Star Wars franchise. Fuck men, fuck Luke. He's just this standard straw man white guy. We don't want him anymore. We want to get rid of him and add in this powerful woman, Rey. She's used the Force better than Luke. She's better than Luke would ever be, and da 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 da. And what you did was is that you forgot about what made Star Wars great in the first place. Like you basically forgot about what made this franchise great, which was Luke. And I felt like after watching The Last Jedi that they completely lost sight of what Luke was. Luke was the most optimistic person in the universe. Like again, this is a guy whose dad was committing mass genocide across the universe and he still didn't give up on his dad. Still never gave up on his dad. But then you see him have one vision or one dream about, Kylo Ren. And then all of a sudden he's like, I gotta kill this guy. Like, really? That's not Luke. Come on. Again, this brings me to my larger point. My larger point is that after The Last Jedi and after the Rise of Skywalker, I was done with Star Wars. I was done. It was to the point where I didn't even watch Rebels. I didn't watch any of those shows that kind of came in and around that time frame because again, I was just done with the Star Wars brand because again, I was tired of being disappointed. I really was. And between that and them, and again, I take that back because I did like Rogue One. Rogue One was a Star Wars film that I really enjoyed, and I love the diversity that was in that cast, but it wasn't overt diversity. Like, what you can do, if you want to add diversity to a Star Wars universe, go for it. I loved, what's his name? Donnie Yen's character in Rogue One. He was my favorite character in Rogue One. They didn't overtly throw it in your face that this was an Asian guy or something to that effect. They just put a great character in and they let that person's character define their role in the film. Like what I don't want to see from Star Wars is like the new series going forward are just like, hey, we're going to use them, they, our pronouns in our Star Wars films. And, oh, we're going to have our first, bisexual Jedi, or we're going to have our first trans Jedi and stuff like that. I'm like, if you want to add a person that is gay or transsexual or something like that in your film, fine, I don't care. Just make sure that the role that person is playing is based off of the role and not who that person's identity is. Like, I don't want to watch a Star Wars film where it's like the first transsexual Jedi, and then all of a sudden we're spending half the movie talking about how brave that person is, and them using them, they, now using pronouns and all this other. I don't want to, like, I don't mind having political stuff in my films. I don't want to see real world issues put into my fictional stuff. I don't want to see that. Like, again, I don't want to see, a Star Wars movie where Finn is being Finn and any other black person that's in Star Wars, they're getting treated differently from the white people in Star Wars, and you're trying to bring in real world issues into a fantasy world. Like, I don't want to see that. Like, if the story warrants something of that fact, make it and do that, but don't make it just overtly obvious. Because again, it's just going to distract people from your goal. And again, I'll give you a prime example: The Mandalorian, and The Mandalorian was one of the greatest things that ever happened to the Star Wars brand. Like, again, if you guys can see down here, I'll move my bottle. Down here in this area is all my Mandalorian stuff. Like, I fucking love Mandalorian. And again, The Mandalorian has a very diverse cast. But Filoni and Favreau, they didn't make it into a activism show. They didn't make it into like gender politics and SJW propaganda, like none of that. It was literally, you put qualified people who are diverse in a film and you let the story dictate where it goes. Carl Weathers, Gina Carano, Rosario Dawson, Giancarlo Esposito, like all these people who are of people of color in this show, and not one person made it about race or anything. It was just about the talent that these people were putting out in a great show. Hell, Mando himself, Adrian Pascal, he is not a white guy. Hell, most of the cast themselves are people of color. There's not. I would say there's more people of color in The Mandalorian than there were in any other Star Wars property, for that matter. Maybe Rogue One, but did you see these quote unquote incel, Star Wars toxic fans attacking Mandalorian the same way that they attacked The Rise of Skywalker or The Last Jedi? No. Because again, at the end of the day, the story dictated what the people's reaction was, and it was a great fucking story. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, they, even in the second season at the end, where they kind of had like that girl power moment when they had the ladies, when they attacked, the ship, and they kind of had the girls come out and do their little girl power thing. Nobody had issues with that. It was a fantastic scene. And it made sense based off of the group of people they had together. Again, like I said, I didn't want this video to be super, super long. I just really wish that I just really hope that Lucasfilm takes a step back and they just stop the bullshit. Because at the end of the day, we the fans are the ones that have been here for 30 plus years dealing with Star Wars. Whoever your new audience that you're trying to bring into with this activism and shit like that, at the end of the day, they're not going to be the ones that's going to buy tickets, that's going to buy the action figures and toys and shit. It's us. And if you keep pissing us off, you're not going to make any money. Straight up and down. So again, this is Sean Up the King, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Have a good one.